So I'm going to return to Flex, and here in Flex you may recognize the application I built this morning. If you didn't see, I'm just quickly going to run this. It's a very simple little tabbed navigator, and the trouble with it is it looks like every other Flex application out there. You see, everything's just the same. It's grey, it's black and white, it's dull. And I want to bring a bit of sparkle, a bit of consistency to the design brief to this. So we're going to apply some styles, and we're talking CSS. So I can create me a new CSS file. Here it is. You saw how easy that was, a new CSS file. I'm going to call it skin style. That's just an arbitrary name. Okay. So here is my Flex style sheet. This is a style sheet. If I go to source view, there I can write ordinary CSS, but I don't want to do that. I said I wasn't going to write hardly any code. I'm going to click this button to create a new CSS style, and I'm going to specifically point this to buttons. So the button component, the component which looks like that's the one I'm going to be styling. So here we are. There are the default looks for a style for a button. And over on the right hand side of the screen, I'm going to skin it, click the skin button, and here I shall use some images. Firstly, the up image, and these are going to be separate images created in Flash or Firefox or Photoshop or Illustrator. You know it can be created in any way you like, even CorelDRAW or one of them things if you wanted to. And we need to go and find some images. There we go, skin images. There's a bunch of images. I'll go for this one here, since it's the only one I have. Again, I'll go and find another image for the over state, and another image. You saw we could have done this right there inside Illustrator. You did notice that. And there I can go on setting the various states of the button. I choose OK. OK, all right for that. Now, what I've done is I've created a style sheet. And Flex is having a think about it. Okay, and there you see my freshly skinned buttons. And all I need to do next is claim allegiance to that style sheet. And bear in mind, I could now point my Flex application to exactly the same style sheet you've created for the rest of your website. The one that applies to all your HTML pages. No problem at all. So here's the line of code I promised you. Really not very scary. I'm going to write that I want a style, control space, enter key, whose source is going to point to, now I called it skin style.css. And I'm done. So now my main application is making use of that style sheet you saw me create not a few seconds ago. I'm just waiting for it to update the design view. I've clicked on design view. By the way, Flex Builder only works on PCs and Linux. Sorry Mac guys, you have to wait a bit, they're working on it. Or you can get your Mac to emulate PC like everybody else does. Alright, so there I've now styled the buttons, and I'm hoping very much if I test this, we will see the styled button, the skinned button appearing in the browser. I may not have stayed to style sheet, of course. I might have made that. Oh, that's always a relief when that happens. You can see that purple button, which is following the style that I created in those other buttons. So skinning is a way of styling things, and there is my style sheet. I'll just quickly give you a nose into the source view. You'll see that buttons are upskinned, overskinned, downskinned, using these source files. By the way, unlike HTML, the CSS style sheet, even an external CSS style sheet, does become part of the SWF. Now, you can write extra code, so dynamically loading style sheets, but by default, the style sheet has become part of the SWF. And the idea there is, if you change the style sheet on your website, it's not going to update your Flash piece. You have to recompile in Flex.